I saw the news of COVID-19 testing today and went,
Yeah.
oh, crap. Stephon Gilmore has it. The Raiders have it. The Titans have more cases, I believe. And I wonder at this point, there's a couple options here. I go, either you can have week 17 will end, and then we'll have 2 more weeks where we can say, let's play any makeup games we need that were canceled or pushed back. Then we can start the playoffs. Or we can say, guys, we got to go to a hotel right now. Everybody's quarantined in a hotel. And people fight against that, but I say, as players, do you want to get paid? Or you do want to have to cancel games and have games suspended? Because if you want to game check consistently, you're going to have to quarantine or make a change. Because right now, it's... what are all your thoughts on this? Because I get nervous. Anytime I see COVID testing come positive, I go, ooh, that's not good for anybody.
And I saw on Twitter too, like Stephon Gilmore, like after the game was like right in the face of like Patrick Mahomes. And like, here's how I feel about it. When we were talking, like you look at the NBA, right? Or the NHL, like they did it really well, right? Bubbling it up, have a nice day. I think the problem with trying a bubble with the NFL is, one, it's incredibly expensive. And the reason I say that is because the owners and the NFL do not want to pay money. They don't. Like, they don't want to pay, like, an exorbitant amount of money. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, the size of the teams are so big. They're so expansive that it's almost impossible for them to do. Would it be, like, possible? Yeah, it'd be a lot of work and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be so difficult because there's so many players on a team. So I think that could potentially be a problem. But then the other thing is, if you're talking about extending the season, that's where I think it's going to wind up going. The problem is like, you're the Titans. You missed last week. You're probably in jeopardy for missing this next week because they held up practice when they shouldn't have. Yeah. And then what happens if you miss 3 weeks? So like if there's 2 weeks allotted at the end of the season, right, in which all the other teams have bye weeks, like what does that look like if you have a team that's missed 3 games and there's only 2 weeks? Because there's going to be some teams that are going to get hit harder than others. So I think it's going to be so incredibly difficult to try and plan out, any kind of makeup games. And I'm wondering where it's going to go. And you know what? I really wouldn't be terribly shocked if they're found in like violation of protocol. If they're just like, listen, if you violated protocol, you forfeit the next game. Like, I would not doubt if it goes that way, because like this has the potential to get ridiculous. And I think as you're starting to see more positive cases, the NFL scrambled to get the Patriots and Chiefs to play on Monday night. And I know Roger Goodell is getting a lot of crap for that, especially after Stephon Gilmore has tested positive. But you look at what had to happen with the Steelers and the Titans, and now they're moving games around, they're moving bye weeks around, et cetera. That's only for 2 teams that they have to do that for. And that already was a logistical nightmare. What happens when it's 4 or 6 or 8 teams? Like, I am very concerned about what's going to happen to this season. And I wonder if it's going to be delayed. I don't know if it's going to be, extended. Because again, there's going to be a team that is going to be impacted more than others. And then so how do you quote unquote make up those games?
There's just no wiggle room. Yeah, it's a mess.
Because it's so finite. This is the love thing about the NFL is like, there's so few games. Every single game matters. It's not like basketball. It's not like hockey or baseball. We're like, you lose a couple games, it's fine. Right? Like this is like 16 weeks regular season. That's it. And I love that about football because it's really like do or die. But at the same time, if you're trying to reschedule things, it's near impossible.
Yeah, I know. It's just scary to me. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like if the year gets put on hold or something, like how do we cover? I don't know. It's kind of weird because you're in a weird. I guess I hate the unknown. Where do I do a film analysis of the first 3 weeks? Is that even fair? Do we project what's coming up? I don't like as a storyteller. I go, what is the story? I don't even understand where. It's so much. It's like in limbo. It's so weird to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's super selfish of me, but of course I'm like worried about myself.
I mean, like, listen, I'm in the same boat, right? Like, it's one of those things that I thought about it, and like one of the major reasons why I went and got out that teaching job again was because like there's a good chance that this season gets canceled, and again, the NFL will do what they have to do, even if it's like the Super Bowl's in March. Like they'll do what they have to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's no guarantee that it's even going to get better within the next few months, right? Like there's so many outside factors and variables that need to be accounted for, vaccines, distribution of them, all the players take that. Like there has to be so much stuff. And, I just don't know if that is happening within the next 5 months. So,
I guess, yeah, go ahead.
No, so it's it's so difficult to try and even predict this because we're living in a time that's completely and totally unpredictable.
Well, it's funny. That's why some people didn't do NFL predictions, because it's how do you predict what's going to happen this year? I mean, the Patriots, if they had Cam Newton in that game, might have won. I mean, the Patriots had so many opportunities. I don't know if you watched it, but it was like...
Yeah, that defense.
They had the ball twice in the red zone plus another interception. It's like, oh my gosh, they could have won. They really were there.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy because again, you start talking about those superstars getting out, and it's not because they're injured, right? It's because they get sick, and it puts already them at such an unfair advantage. And you look at Brown County, Wisconsin, where Green Bay is, they are literally the epicenter of the country right now. The Green Bay Packers announced that they're not having fans for the foreseeable future because everybody and their mother is getting sick. So I think it's so crazy. But I think it's also a reminder, not to get complacent, because at this point you can't, or we're going to lose football. Put it super selfishly, we'll lose football.
I guess maybe if anything does happen, if worst case scenario happens, right? Season gets canceled, it's over, whatever. At least we can look back and say we got a couple weeks of entertainment that made it our lives. 2020 has been an awful year, and you got election season coming up. It's pretty miserable. I hate that kind of stuff. It's just terrible after terrible after terrible thing. It's been really nice to have football. If anything does happen in football, I guess I can say it's been nice while it lasted. I've been really grateful for this year. It's just been really a nice break from everything else going on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get the whole don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, Dr. Seussical. Yeah. No, I get you. Yeah. I mean, there definitely is that. I mean, I will say, as a Packers fan, I'm gonna be pissed considering how well we're playing. If they're just listen, there's not if they canceled the season tomorrow, Jets fans are oh, thank God, we don't have to watch this anymore. Yeah. But yeah, I think I don't think you'll have an all-out cancellation. I think you'll have a postponement, if anything. But the logistics of even trying to make that work are gonna be very, very difficult. Like you said, I'm enjoying it while we have it. I hope it continues on. I hope that, they lock down on the protocols, and kind of at that point, that's all we can hope for.
You put out a theory I haven't heard from anybody. If you violate a protocol, that's an automatic, you forfeit the game. That'd be an interesting solution to say the schedule isn't compromised and we don't have to play the game.
Yep. I mean, because again, because here's the thing, I don't want to blame the people who are getting sick, who got sick and it wasn't in their control, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going out and you're partying and you're whatever and you're not wearing a mask or stuff like that, then I would not be terribly surprised if the NFL turned around and was here, we have proof of you violating protocol. That's it. We're not doing it.